everyone, welcome to another MATLAB Unit 1 video. In previous videos we've talked about how to plot in MATLAB, and so far we've just seen one plot, right? So we've plotted a circle or we've plotted just a parabola or something like that. But what if I want to have two or more plots displayed on the same axes? So if I just type in plot and an open parenthesis and I wait, I can see a whole bunch of options pop up. So in particular, take a look at this third one here. It says plot x1, y1, comma, dot, 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 xn, yn. So what this is telling us is that we can just pass, so x1, y1, that's going to be, you can think of it as our first plot. And we can plot a second plot, an nth plot, by just specifying pairs of x values and y values. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And in this video, let's say I want to plot two things. So let's say I want to plot y equals x squared and y equals sine of x on the same axes. So let's start by getting the points ready for x squared. So I'm going to call x1. Let's let this be linspace, and let's go from, let's say, -6 to 6, and let's put 50 points. And I really should have put the semicolon there, huh? So let's do it. And let's say now, so y1, remember we want this to be x squared. So I'm going to take x1, square it. And does anyone notice a mistake that I've made? Remember, if I want to do element-wise exponentiation, I need the dot here. All right, so now x1 and y1, that gives me what I need to plot x squared. Let's do something similar, but now for the graph of sine. So let's do x2. Let's make this linspace, and I don't know, let's say we want it to go from -4 to 4. And let's put 100 points. And then for y2, this is just going to be a sine of x2. And now we're going to plot. So remember, we have x1, y1, that's our first plot. And then to get the second plot, we just type another pair. So we're going to have x2, comma, y2. And we can see here on this plot, there's our parabola, x squared, and we can see sine of x here. Great. So there's a lot of different options that we can do for this plot. We can change colors, we can change the way the lines are drawn. So let's take a look at a couple options that are available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type help followed by plot. And I want to look, let's see, here at this point. So various line types, plot symbols, and colors may be obtained with plot x, y, s, where s is a character string made from one element from any or all of the following three columns. So what this is saying is after our plot, we're going to pass it a string where each character comes from one of these columns, and it tells us something about the plot that we want. So for instance, the first character is going to be a single letter that refers to a color. So we have blue, green, red, etc. The second column tells us how do we want the plots to be marked. Do we want points, circles, stars, for instance? And the last one tells us how do we want the points to be connected. Do we want to use a solid line, a dotted line, a dash and a dot? And you can see all the different options here. So let's start by changing around the parabola. So y equals x squared. Let's say I want to make it, let's say magenta, so I'll use M. And let's say I want it to be x marked, and I don't want it connected, so I'm not going to type anything. So the way I'm going to encode this is, let's go back to our plot. Now I have x1, y1, then what I'm going to do, this is where the string goes, so I'm going to type 2 single quotation marks, M for magenta, and what did I say? Did I want the x marks? I don't remember. But for the x mark, I just type x, so it's going to be mx, magenta x. And now I can see the parabola has become this pink magenta-ish color, and I have it marked with x's, and they're not being connected. If I wanted to connect them instead, so one thing that I could do is I could say connect the x's with a solid line. So I'm going to type a single dash like this. So I can come here, mx, and the last thing is just going to be this dash. Oops. So dash. And now I can see that the x's have been linked together with this solid line. Another thing that I could do, I could change sign at the same time. So let's say I want to make it, I don't know, let's see. Let's make it cyan, so C. Let's mark it with, let's see, diamonds, so D, and no line. So I'm going to do CD, and that's it. So I'm going to come here. And so after X2, Y2, I have my string, C for cyan, then D for diamond, and let's plot it. So this one's a little bit hard to see just because remember we used so many points when we were defining the sine curve. I think we said something like use 100 points. So to see it a little bit better, let's update our definition. So I'm going to say, let's make X2, let's only use 30 points. And then we just need to update the definition of Y2. And then let's plot everything. And we can see now I only used 30 points, and if you were to count, you'd see 30 diamonds here marking the sine curve. A couple other things that we can do is we can change the title of our plot. So let's say title, the notation for this is you do title, then open parentheses, and in single quotations, you put the title that you want. So let's call this 2 plots. And we can see the title pops up here. And we can also add a legend. Oops. And the way this is going to work, so notice we have the syntax pop up. Oops, it disappeared. Let's try to get it back. Let's see. Can I get it to come back? Yes. Okay. So notice we have label 1 through up to here. It says label N. So this corresponds to each plot. So the first label is going to be the parabola. So let's say parabola. And the second one is going to be sine. And we can see here on the figure, the pinkish line is the parabola, the blue diamonds are sine. So there's tons and tons of options that you can do for plotting. I showed you just a couple ways that you can get started, but feel free to read through the documentation, Google for similar examples. There really are a number of possibilities that you can do for plotting. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.